And now I'd like to welcome in Austin King, the co-founder of Nomina, to discuss more on Bitcoin. With Bitcoin right now having seen this pressure, of course, I know October was a bit of a disappointment, but walk us through what you think is leading to some of this weakness and really why we're seeing this persist, I think, a bit longer than the bulls would have hoped.
Yeah, I think as an asset class at large, crypto is very much still seen as a risk-on asset class. And when we're seeing the largest or the longest government shutdown we've seen in the history of the United States, that's a pretty clear indicator that people in the market should take it easy for a bit. And that reflects quite strongly in assets like Bitcoin at this point in time. So I think people really are just taking risk off a bit at this point in time, and that's one of the primary reasons that Bitcoin and crypto at large is down.
All right, Austin, you've been on here before. We've asked you the tough questions, but this is also a time probably to take a step back and look at this. How long ago? Last year at this time with Bitcoin at 95,000, this was seen as a huge win. So it's almost like because of the success of the asset class, this pullback is being scrutinized so heavily. But I mean, the performance is still astronomical. There are concerns because of sort of the ripple effects. We were just talking strategy with Diane. We know they're a little bit levered up in this space. As someone who's operating a business here, how important is stability and maybe the decreasing nature of the volatility to that kind of space at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who has been building in the crypto industry for over 8 years at this point, what always happens during these downturns is lower quality companies get washed out, but then it becomes easier to see companies that are doing really well. And so one company, for example, that's relatively newer to the space that is making a big splash is called Extended. And this is a team that spun out of the digital banking giant Revolut. And the reason they're doing so well is because they're combining that pragmatic business sense from Revolut with some of the most advanced cryptography technology the industry and, well, I mean, frankly, the world has ever seen, built by a team called Starkware. They processed over $25 billion in the past month alone in volume. And so for us at Nomina, it becomes pretty clear during times like this, like, all right, this team is going to be a winner. Let's work with them. And, frankly, that's exactly what we're doing. We're launching an integration with them this week so that people can trade on Extended just directly through the Nomina trading terminal.
Okay, and we've seen, I think, this pretty major still, fintech innovation specifically in the crypto world, which I do think is underappreciated by the overall market. But does this signal to you crypto infrastructure growth is decoupling from the price cycle, or what does this really signal as far as broader things you're looking forward to?
Building happens incrementally, right? It takes time to launch new products and actually scale them out. But prices, that's a totally different story. They can skyrocket one day and they can crash another. Like we were saying, people were euphoric not too long ago to see Bitcoin right around the price that it's at right now. And now the macro story around it is what's going on with Bitcoin. Why is it looking so weak right now? So one thing that is really exciting to me as somebody who's been in the industry for such a long time is seeing that steady progress actually on the product front that is delivering value to end users, independent of what's happening in prices.
Austin, similar question, but maybe looking at it a little bit differently. What do you think is more important and going to, in the end, have a bigger impact? The fact that you're getting real legacy, traditional banking firms looking at this space, investing in this space, and getting some skin in the game, or the headlines around, hey, Bitcoin just lost whatever 25% of its value plus in a short period of time?
Yeah, by a mile from my perspective, if you're actually looking at it with a long-term time orientation, which if you're exposed to any crypto as an asset, you should probably be looking at it from a long-term time frame. But the thing that matters the most is value is being created. We have had this technology for a long time that is fundamentally better in a number of ways for conducting financial transactions. And now finally we're seeing the world's largest financial institutions and financial services companies taking this technology and using it to upgrade their existing services. So from my perspective, it's about value being delivered to end users, and that's what's steadily happening still, independent of prices moving downwards right now.
Okay, and just curious really how you navigate these periods of volatility right now, and which projects are creating real durable value versus some that perhaps may be just tied to a hype cycle, for example.
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point in the cycle where sometimes when prices are really going up, it serves as tailwinds to the entire industry, and some companies really can capitalize on those tailwinds while, creating products that really aren't delivering as much value to users. So from my perspective, honestly, in the past 8 years that I've been in the industry, we always do better during downturns. And there's a number of reasons why that is, but kind of like I was talking about with Extended, one reason is it's easier to see the winners, and it's easier to team up with them during times like this.
Austin, when we go beyond Bitcoin, we look at things like Ethereum and some of the other projects, stable coins come into the conversation. Do you think, stable coins in particular, and that particular conversation, the legislation that we've seen, do you think more the networking effects and sort of the decentralized nature of the technology is gone to that tipping point where it's proved its concept?
Honestly, I don't think many people care that it's decentralized. I think people primarily care that it's accessible. Stablecoins are one of the most clear use cases of crypto because there are billions of people throughout the world who don't have access to a stable fiat currency to use in their day-to-day life. Us as Americans, it's very easy to take that for granted, but the US dollar is something that is incredibly beneficial to us in our day-to-day lives, and so many people don't have access to that. Stablecoins, whether you don't need to think about blockchains or anything, what you need to think about is people across the world are getting access to a stable currency. And this, is something that I'm really proud to be working in this industry because it's providing so much clear utility to people across the world who need it at a very fundamental level to live better lives.
Okay, so as far as the near to maybe longer term, what are you most excited about that is still coming ahead for the crypto space? We have to end on a positive note, which I guess we are also now firmly positive in most of these crypto and exposed assets right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, the industry does this all the time. It goes through a slump, but what's actually not changing is the progress that is happening behind the scenes. And so, I think this is the first time ever we've seen this much regulatory clarity, and that has unblocked so much progress in terms of the value that can actually be delivered to end users and Americans and people throughout the world that finally can benefit from this technology, as opposed to just speculating on the price.
Okay, yeah, great place to leave it. We so appreciate it. Austin King, co-founder of Nomina.